Greetings, and welcome to another episode of 1320 Time Stream. This is Alea Eternal. We're here in our magical dog wave spell on the day of the Overtone Wizard. Let's just take a little look at that here quickly. As you may know, if you've been following the wave spell, we just came out of the first corridor. Yesterday was the day of defining what form it will take. We defined our purpose, we defined our challenge, we defined our service, and we defined the form. And now we are taking command. So today is that day where we begin the next 4 days, or the next 3 days, like today, tomorrow, next day, and day after that, which is taking command. So we're beginning to really see that energy today. Now let's just do our little quick breath. The Overtone Wizard is going to be our right elbow and our left baby finger. So let's breathe out our right elbow and our left baby finger and breathe outward. Yeah, just breathing out through those two. Okay, I'll do some good introductory breaths for today's energy. So, talking a little bit about the overtone. The overtone is a really nice energy. It's like we talked about last time, where the self-existing tone, which is like the definer, it gives form. It is the form body. And you could say that like the command energy of the overtone is the energy gets breathed into it. It's like the life, the soul, the will of it in a way. The overtone is a very direct energy. Take command, empower, radiate. It's almost like light. I find it similar to the solar tone in the way that it is like some kind of luminosity, but it's kind of like trying to define fire and picking out heat and light. This is kind of like that heat energy, where that command energy, there's more force to it, there's more drive, there's more direction kind of energy. And it being applied with the wizard, it's like we're taking command of our magic, we're taking command of our intellect, we're taking command of our, there's a part of the wizard that makes me feel of like complex documents, or like almost like wizardly spell books, but in this case it could be just like red tape, or like aspects of your life that represent like kind of applying your magic, your mystery, your skill set kind of thing. So there's like a taking command and empowering of this direction. The energy of the wizard very classically, represents that enchanting energy. And it's like, this comes in so many different ways. Like the enchanting energy in one very classic terminology is like, someone being enchanted by your mystique, your ability to, really enrapture their awareness or their faculty of perception. And so it's like, the energy of the overtone with this is like really commanding that power of enchantment. You could be a very mesmerizing force today, especially if you inherently are a wizard or even an overtone wizard, if this is your perfect day or birthday. As well as it could be a day where these effects are occurring to you and you're being enchanted by things. This is not even remotely necessarily bad, because the enchanting energy is kind of commanding you to be in such a way, it's an invitation into that timelessness. When you're enchanted, when you're kind of like almost entranced, maybe even dumbstruck, something like this, then you begin to really witness the dynamic of not really perceiving anything outside of that direct experience. And so whatever the kind of like sharing is, or that motion of energy, it is almost absolute in like the purity of the essence of the isness of that moment. It's only that thing. And so therefore there's a state of timelessness where one essentially loses track of time. There is no time, where there's this like depth to what one is sharing. And so in this respect, commanding or empowering, it's like commanding that enchantment empowers that timelessness kind of thing. And so yeah, we got some really interesting qualities. And so that receptivity, or sorry, that enchantment is a state of receptivity. So it's like this enchantment, that timelessness and that receptivity all together are all really like different words kind of talking about the same quality of energy, radiating receptivity is a big one for this. And so it's the ability to really open up to something and, finding that inner emptiness, finding that inner space, which I feel is really also exemplified by the Skywalker energy yesterday, which, it's the explorer and whatnot, the journeyer, but it's also like the one that is like the explorer of space. And for there to be an exploration of space, there has to be space. And so yesterday, there's this real dynamic energy, which is about a space opening up, a space becoming present. And so the wizard is like almost like the intelligence of space. It is the energy that is what it is to experience being in the depth of a type of space. And this is where that enchantment comes in. You're enraptured, you're enveloped in a space, that enchantment, that timelessness, because it's so vast, and that receptivity really speaks to that. The receptive nature is that it is a space. Space itself is receptive, and so I find this is a direct continuation of the Skywalker in the actuation of that spatial energy. There's a couple things to meditate on here. We're in our right shoulder today, and yeah, it's just a really good time to take command of that energy. The dog energy is a really communal-based energy, family, that community, family, group, tribe, association, whatevs. It's all just up to you to really identify how the energy works. And, if you've been following the wavespell, which I highly encourage you to, because of the dynamics, I can pretty much guarantee you that as you attune yourself to this natural flow of time, that you'll begin to see this pattern take shape and take form in your life very directly. And so, when it is a day for taking command, when it is a day for being in service and whatnot, it's really going to show up. It's going to be in those days. This is not an idealistic fabrication or some kind of mental infatuation. This is a very realistic energy flow. It is here before we are here. And so as we tune into it, for the most part, it makes life a lot easier, because it really helps us not resist what's occurring and to be able to tap into those currents. And that alone is some of the magic, that we're talking about, that the wizard kind of represents, a kind of intelligence. Oh, yawning for whatever reason. Okay. I think that's a good initiatory drop here on the wavespell section for this episode of 1320 Time Stream. Stay tuned for the affirmation section.